him to change. You've already been doing this for a period of time. You've been waiting for him to shift, for him to change, for him to just realize your hurt, to be able to realize your pain. And that's what my wife did for a long period of time. She tried to be able to wait around and wait for me to shift, wait for my mindset to be able to understand what she was going through, the pain that she was feeling based on the things that I had caused. But I wasn't willing to see it. I wasn't willing to understand it. I wasn't willing to put myself in her shoes simply because that was going to be too painful for me. Too painful because it bring up the guilt and the shame of who I was, of what I'd done, because it was all about me and what I wanted, how I wanted to protect myself from feeling guilt and shame. So I'd run in the opposite direction. She waited for such a long period of time for me to change, and it never happened. And the reason why it didn't happen for such a long period of time was because I wasn't willing to acknowledge who I was. I wasn't willing to be honest with how I'd shown up. I wasn't willing to be honest with the things that I'd done that had hurt her. Too many times you wait for such a long period of time for the guy in your life to wake up and to actually change. To wake up and finally realize that he's done something that's hurt you. To wake up and realize that he's done something that's impacted your world. But the problem is, for as long as you've waited, it hasn't changed anything. He hasn't woken up to the reality. He hasn't been honest with himself. He hasn't been honest with you. And the same thing keeps happening over and over and over. You're just stuck inside of the hope, thinking that maybe he's going to shift, maybe he's going to wake up, maybe he's going to get better, and it hasn't happened. Stop waiting for him to change. I get comments all the time from people being like, but you've changed. Why do you tell us to leave? But you changed. Like, what if this guy could change? Here's the thing you need to understand. Anyone can transform. Anyone can heal. But it all comes down to their willingness to be honest. Because if they're not willing to be honest, nothing's going to shift. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to be different at all. Everything's going to stay the same exact way. A narcissist is not willing to be honest with himself. He's not willing to be honest with you. So as a result, it keeps happening over and over and over again. And you keep hoping that he's going to change. You keep hoping that something will be different, but nothing actually is. Nothing actually shifts. Nothing actually gets better. Everything stays exactly the same over and over and over again, simply because this guy is not willing to be honest. Stop waiting for him to change. You keep sitting around hoping that he's going to change, hoping that it's going to get better. But the reality is, if you look over the past year, over the past 5 years, how has it gotten better? It hasn't. You're still in the same scenario. You're still in the same gaslighting event. You're still in the same lies that he's telling you. You're dealing with the same aftermath after the relationship, trying to put back the pieces of you, trying to figure out who you are, your likes, your hobbies, your dislikes. You don't even know who you are because of everything that's happened inside the relationship. It's time to rediscover you. And you can't do that by focusing on him. You can't do that by learning more about narcissistic abuse. You can't do that by learning what makes him tick just a little bit more, by understanding the why behind it just a little bit more. Because the more you focus on him, the more you lose yourself. You've already seen this inside of your relationship, but now you're seeing it even in or out of, well, you try to heal. The more you focus on him, the less you focus on you. Stop waiting for this guy to change. You start being the author of your change, which means you're the one that can actually heal. You're the one that actually rebuild your life, who can reclaim who you are. But too many times people focus on everything else but their own healing. You focus on him, you focus on his problems, you focus on the new supply, you focus on the next thing, you focus on all the what ifs. What if I could have done something different? What if he changes? You'll focus on so many different things, and you just won't focus on your healing. Sometimes people ask, they're like, well, what if I leave and he changes? What if you leave and you still don't heal? Because at the end of the day, he could change and he could not change. But you would still be out of your healing because you haven't made any effort or any focus on you. You've been taught and trained and conditioned not to focus on you. Feels weird to focus on you. Just the other day, I was talking to a client. I asked her, what do you want for you? And she was like, I don't know. Because she never had the chance, the opportunity to even have that question asked of her, because every time she thought of things that she wanted for herself, or she had an opinion or feelings, she got put down. This is why it's so important to focus on you inside the healing process. So stop waiting on him to change and start focusing on your change, your growth, your development. If you're a woman that's in the relationship or out of the relationship and you're struggling to figure out how to heal, I want to invite you to my Reclaim workshop happening July 12th in Orlando, Florida, or you can tune in anywhere in the world over Zoom. An opportunity for you to actually see and understand how to break the trauma bond, how to eradicate the triggers, how to set healthy boundaries, how to move forward in the healing process, not just consuming more information, but stepping into a transformational space where you can feel seen and heard by other women, where you can feel connected and understood how to be able to move forward in the healing process and no longer have this guy hold you back. If you want to know more about this, you can go to rawmotivations.com/reclaim, or you can drop a comment with the word reclaim down below and I'll send you a link. You have a blessed, wonderful day. We'll see y'all next time.